Describe postnatal depression
in 3 words.
Dark.
It's horrific.
Suffocating.
lonely, confusing, and can be really debilitating.
What were your symptoms of
Postnatal depression.
An overwhelming feeling of just being an absolute failure, like I was failing my children by being their mum, that I couldn't fulfill what they needed of me, that I just didn't have the resources to kind of just function in a way that I was used to.
I didn't think I had postnatal depression. I just thought I was really tired. I had a cesarean, so I thought it was part of that. I slept a lot, and I didn't really want to be around people.
I would have very disproportionate reactions to very little stress.
Like dropping something would just send me into a bit of a spiral of I just can't cope.
I think mainly didn't bond that quickly with my baby.
And I kept comparing myself unfavourably to other people, and I couldn't stop.
When did you know you needed help?
For postnatal depression,
When my daughter was about 6 weeks old, I just couldn't stop crying one day.
When I noticed I was avoiding things. I was avoiding going out outside with the baby because I was frightened.
I think when I was crying from pretty much on and off from when I woke up to when I went to bed, when the voices in my head that told me I was failing were more powerful than any of the voices that I was trying to retaliate with. No, you've got this, you're okay. I think that's when I realised that it was time for me to go and get some help.
One day someone said to me, "How much does the baby weigh?" And I said, "Oh, I don't know." Hadn't been to take him to the health visitors for about 3 months, so the last time I had him weighed, he was a newborn. That's when I knew I had to get out again. And the fact that I wasn't was probably down to some sort of mental health problem.
I actually only realised in retrospect that I had postnatal depression with my first, so quite late on.
When were you diagnosed?
With postnatal depression. I was 3 months postpartum when I was diagnosed.
I was diagnosed when my daughter was 9 weeks old.
Being a psychotherapist, I had kind of already diagnosed myself, but I formally went to the GP on my birthday when Charlie was 4 months old.
I'd had symptoms and I went on the mini pill, and sometimes the mini pill can make you quite depressed, so my symptoms of postnatal depression were quite masked. I went to the doctor and I basically had to force a diagnosis of postnatal depression. With it being my second child, I knew there was something that wasn't quite right in the way I was feeling. Thankfully, the doctor agreed with me and I was put on a course of medication, which really helped me.
It took me 3 months to realise that the kind of negativity and sadness that I was feeling was actually out of the normal, because I'd never had a baby before. I didn't know how you were supposed to feel. And so, yeah, it took that long to get help, mainly because even once I'd noticed, I didn't want to seek any because I didn't want to admit I was failing.
It was a really positive step for me to take, and it was the beginning of things improving.
What treatment
Worked for you?
3 sorts. One was that I went to this crafts group, which was really just a way of getting mums with postnatal depression out of the house. I called it Sad Ladies Club. It's not called that. But yeah, it was just a sort of activity group, especially set up for mums with depression.
The medication route really, really helped, and I was on medication for about 18 months and I couldn't have got over PND without medication.
I was already on antidepressants because I have depression anyway, but they upped my dose. I think they doubled my dose, and that really helped as well. I've gone back down now.
I started trying to talk back to that voice in my mind that I was a failure, that I was rubbish, that I couldn't do this. So I just started to try and practice some kind of self-compassion. I started trying to introduce some self-care, just taking a bit of time for myself, thinking about what I needed, which was really hard because I just kind of lost the voice of my own needs. I'd lost sensitivity to what I needed. I wasn't even drinking enough water.
Talk therapy really helps. Talking like that every week with a therapist, that really helped.
I had CBT therapy and it was a total game changer.
you.